Hi there. I have nothing planned for this intro.
50 Fridays till next Christmas.
Woo!
Only a couple more until the Super Bowl.
You like that? You like that?
You're listening to the Clubhouse.
At CHMR.
Hey, shoots and scores. Oh, get in the fast lane, Grandma. The bingo game is ready to roll. Take me to the dance. Kick up your heels. It happened. It happened.
Welcome.
You're back listening to Newfoundland's premier sports talk radio show.
Newfoundland's only sports talk radio show.
As far as I know.
I don't know any other ones. There's definitely, there's got to be a couple.
There got to be one at least on CBC out there somewhere.
Definitely.
Guys, isn't there another one on this station?
Shout out to him. I feel bad now. We're going to have to make
We're
up
just
that.
winging it. We wing it. We wing our dialogue.
So,
And sometimes things like this happen. We accept it. It's fine.
at least we have Katie here to remind us of these things.
Producer Katie.
I'm always here to remand you you're stupid.
Oh!
Oh, shots fired. Shots fired. You can't.
You can't do that, Katie.
You like that?
Oh,
I'm
got
also
it.
full of chirps today, guys.
Did you actually? That reminds. Did you see the? I don't know. Maybe you sent that to me or showed me that. But the Randall.
Johnny
Cobb.
did. Special guest Johnny did.
Yeah, the Randall Cobb. You like that?
Yes.
Yeah.
It wasn't as good.
Yeah.
And listen, you can't disgrace that you like that. That's
No,
a sacred
Kirk
quote,
Cousins.
and only the K-Cuz can say that. He spells his name with a K, not a C, right?
It is okay. Yeah,
Okay,
it's
K-Cuz.
You got it right. It's okay. You're safe.
There's also D-Cuz in the NBA with DeMarcus Cousins.
Yes.
But I digress. The Redskins are out now, correct?
Done.
They're done.
They're gone. Green Bay made sure of that.
Did you watch that game? I assume you
I
did.
did. Katie also watched that game.
Woo!
My first game of football. It was a big day for me.
You learned a lot.
It was a big Sunday. I did learn a lot.
I had to explain the game. It's always an intimidating game to just, just try to learn.
That's
in a
why I
sitting.
never got into it before. It's a hard game to just like sit down and understand without having someone be like, okay, this is what they're trying to do. I don't know what those yellow and blue lines meant, but now I do. So I can pass on my new knowledge.
There you go.
The yellow and blue lines on the field?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're like, they start there, and they got to get to one. I don't quite remember, but I do know.
So we lied. Katie did not learn football. We're kidding.
We reviewed it with her.
I kept it in my short term. It's fine. It'll come back next time I watch a game.
Nope.
Nope. It's.
We have faith in you.
Oh yeah, definitely. But it was a good game.
Listen, it took me
Comeback
forever to learn
wins.
football. I don't even know every rule yet.
It's just an intimidating game to pick up, especially if the interest isn't 100% there. Right?
Well, you need that for anything you pick up and start watching. And games like basketball and hockey, it's kind of easy to pick up. I mean, there's intricacies like icing, if you would call that an intricacy.
Well, they're specific rules to the sport.
But like, I mean, I would think that basketball and hockey are,
pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Yeah, same with like soccer. Pretty straightforward. But
Yeah.
football is one. Football and I'd say baseball.
yeah.
Baseball is kind of straightforward.
I'd say mostly because, I mean, you pretty much have a different lineup of players.
Yeah.
Depending on if you're going on offense or defense.
Yeah.
I mean, no
Strategies change
and the coach is much more important.
But that's now talking about the Super Bowl coming up too.
Yeah.
That's usually the premier. I think that's the premier event to get people into that sport.
Yes.
It's perfect because there's always so much hype around it. It's like one of those things. It's like you need an event like the Game 7 Jays comeback win.
for sure.
You need an event like that. So you got to experience something like that to get you really into the sport. Like it just sparks, and then you're like, I love this, and then you start following it.
I'm not gonna lie. Now that I kind of know a little bit about football, I am kind of excited about the Super Bowl for once, just because.
Well,
I'll get it kind of.
now you'll sit down and just like watch it and get to experience it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I still don't have a favorite team, but
I don't either.
no.
It takes some time.
I'm not ready. I'm not ready to commit yet. I have commitment issues.
It took me a little while. I know a couple of people that don't even follow a specific team. They're like fans of. They'll be like a quarterback.
From what I
have
understand about the game, I could see you picking a favorite quarterback versus a favorite team because the quarterback is kind of the seems like the backbone of the team.
Yeah,
Like they're them and the coach are like the ultimate pairing. So I could see you following a quarterback versus following a team.
Definitely.
That's the thing in sports, anyways. That, I mean, as an avid sports fan, it kind of annoys me how people almost feel obliged to completely connect to one team. I'm fine if someone like now there's an exception with some cases. As an example, a team suddenly gets very good. You say I've been here since the start. This is my team.
Yeah.
Those
This is what
darn
people call the
bandwagon
bandwagoners.
jumpers.
But people overuse that word. Like they
No.
use it really aggressively.
I don't see anything wrong with that. Like if you say you start. It depends, right? Say if you don't watch the sport at all, right, and you don't really care so much about it, but someone asks you, you're like, oh, I've watched a little bit. Like, what's your favorite team? And you just think of the team that won the last championship,
Right.
Like, oh, like the Miami Heat are my team, or
Right.
like, you know what I mean? You just pick that team. That is not the same as, say, someone who's just starting to enjoy the sport itself, and then say, like, I don't know, for me, for example, like, oh, I'm a Raptors fan, but now that's just regional.
Right.
That's where I grew up. Everyone's a Raptors fan. But like the Golden State Warriors now, if you're just getting into the sport, what better team to start following than the Golden
definitely.
State Warriors? Like they have the most, they play the most entertaining brand of basketball, and it's amazing to watch them play.
And
So
they have-
why wouldn't you be a fan of that team? Why wouldn't you pick the most entertaining team?
The guy with the MVP. I mean, that's usually the go-to team, right?
Like when I picked my when I started getting into soccer, European like football, I chose I tend to lean to Arsenal as a Premier League team because I find they play the most exciting brand of football. Like it's a lot like Barcelona. Like it's a lot of ball movement. It's attacking football.
Right. And even
It's exciting.
now, I'm actually starting to watch or pay attention a bit more to soccer.
Yeah.
And I'm gravitating towards Barcelona.
Oh, there you, and it's good to watch.
That's cool.
though. You'll like them because it's like Arsenal. Now it's different too because like soccer has that tendency to like you have teams in different leagues that don't even play each other and stuff like that, right?
It's confusing in the same way
confusing in that
boxing
sense?
is.
Like,
It's not organized under one brand.
Well, it is funny though. Next month you will see Arsenal versus Barcelona, and that could be a really good game. It could be a really good in the Champions League. Now I am scared because it's Barcelona and they've probably the most dominant team. They have the best player in the world.
One of the most highest paid.
Probably the
people
three
in
best
the
players
world.
in the world.
Actually, not people, athletes.
Name the three, Josh. I'm curious.
Which three? What were we
Luis-
talking about?
Messi, Luis Suarez, and Neymar.
Oh,
All top players for their country,
got all the three.
and all ridiculous goal scorers.
So
Were you trying to test me there?
I was a little bit.
Yeah.
I was like,
I
name
know.
them, Josh.
I
name
know
them.
my my soccer.
But this is I don't know. This is an interesting topic with the whole new people to the sport and bandwagoning, air quotes. Remember last week I did the air quotes and didn't address it
Yeah,
to
air
over
quotes,
the air.
air quotes.
So that's air quotes. But yeah, I think it's pretty interesting that with the whole thing of who do you go to, the champions, the MVP, the style of play.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh man, I think anytime that whenever I got into a sport randomly, like if I just started watching it, enjoying it, I always gravitated to the most exciting team.
Right.
That's just natural.
Well, I mean, just look at the recent Blue Jays. Like,
Oh my
that
gosh,
started
yes.
just so many people into baseball for the first time. So of course they're going to jump on the Blue Jays
The amount
bandwagon. And there's nothing. I jumped right on the Blue Jays bandwagon, and there's nothing wrong with that.
The amount of fans that they just pulled in from that run.
And it's what you said as well with the Blue Jays. Like, they happen to be the best offensive team in the league, and they're regional. It's the only regional team.
Yeah,
for
exactly.
the MLB.
Exactly.
So
for me, like football, I found I started watching it in a really recent era where Aaron Rodgers is the best quarterback in the NFL. I found the most exciting brand of football. Now, mind you, this season has been a bit of a tough one as a Packers fan, but that's how it works though. I like to stick by a team once you pick it. That's just the way that I am. But also, like as a fan of the sport itself too, like if you were an actual fan of the sport, you watch it anyway, regardless. Like
Yes.
I have center ice at home. Like I watch ridiculous amount of hockey games and stuff. Not even my teams, right?
Unless you have the package. I don't know if I know NBA League Pass has this option, but I don't know if NHL you can buy a team.
Oh, really?
And League Pass you can actually buy a game.
That is really
A game.
just a single game. I wonder how much a game costs. What does a game go for
I
these
think
days?
something like $5, but still, man. But I think with the game, it would almost be the people that appreciate the whole sport because they would have their team bought, and then every now and then be interested in a random game, pick that out rather than buying the whole season.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I like that though. It is interesting. It's interesting how it works.
This is the Clubhouse on CHMR.
Yeah.
Always follow along on Twitter. Tweet us at Clubhouse CHMR. And we're going to take a break and leave you with some Spitalfield.
You know, this is really your chance to be an armchair quarterback.
You're listening to the Clubhouse.
Hey! We're back.
You know what?
What?
I'm really excited for this year.
Yeah?
Really excited for this because there's a lot of good. Like, nothing is better for. I personally, I feel nothing is better for any sport than international competition.
Yes.
And there's so much on the go this year. I'm so excited for it.
International competition in the football?
In all, like
in the European football?
Yeah, we got the Euros. Mm-hmm. The Euros this year, which are they're looking like they're gonna be pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Which I'm excited for. And you also got the new World Cup of Hockey.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we just finished the juniors, which were.
And isn't this a Summer Olympics year?
I think so. I was just going to bring that up. I was going to ask you. I'm pretty sure it is.
I think it is. Yeah.
It is.
Rio.
It's always it's 2 years on and off between the different Olympics.
And I'm already hearing terrible stuff about the residences over there.
The Olympics is my Christmas. I will stay up to all hours of every night to watch the Olympics.
I do that with the Winter Olympics.
I love the Winter Olympics more, but the Summer Olympics, I still horse jumping.
Yeah.
And just like, that's my favorite. In the
What is
summer.
it? Equestrian?
Equestrian,
all
yeah.
the equestrian sports are my favorite.
I think for me, it's,
Katie, our equestrian specialist.
it's more so I guess like the country pride for me.
Right.
I think that's why I enjoy the Winter Olympics
it
more
gets you right
because
fired up.
Canada just cleans up too.
Oh, in the winter, yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
Not in the summer. Canada's nowhere to see in the summer.
I mean, they still do fairly well in the summer. Look at, is it Katrina LeMay Dome?
Yeah.
She has a gold medal. Or
She's the
is it
first ever,
gold?
isn't she?
She's.
Is it her that
I
I'm
feel
talking-
like it
the
might be
fir-
the first woman.
Is this the trampoline?
Yeah, I think.
No, she does triathlon and hockey, speed skating.
Speed skating. I think it might actually be the first athlete. I don't think it's just even. I think, but don't quote me, people. No, because I remember.
But if you
talking
want to,
somebody
just send
about-
us a tweet.
You could do that anyway. I'm pretty sure though, because I remember talking to somebody about it. I think it is.
She's amazing. She's an absolutely stellar athlete. I mean, imagine people devote their lives to one sport, and she's devoted her life to two and managed to do amazing things in the whole, be the best in the world in two sports. That's
find that so
blows
interesting.
my mind.
Throwback to a couple dudes in that competed in the MLB. And
You were going exactly where I was thinking with that.
yeah, great
Bo
documentary.
Jackson,
Bo.
one of my favorite athletes of all time.
Bo.
An all-star in both the MLB and the NFL.
That's unreal. How do you even do
How
that?
do you do that? Like, how do you, in two sports, not even just being good in one and just being drafted, because a lot of players are drafted in both. I think Russell Wilson was drafted.
Yeah, I was going to say that as well. There's people drafted in both, and that's not that uncommon.
No, but Bo Jackson. Now there's
Less uncommon than you'd think.
There's legend and myth behind Bo Jackson. Like, he's considered to be one of the best athletes of all time.
Yeah,
Like a
yeah.
natural athlete.
Yeah, there's a bunch of folklore stories of things
That Bo
he did
Jackson
off
did,
the
like
field.
stories that people, off the field.
Fantastic. Like, there's is there a 30 for 30 on him? Is it 30 for 30 or?
It's one of those ESPN specials I remember seeing before, but it was so interesting to watch. But he was an all-star in both sports.
And those guys at the beginning of the century, the tough as nails dudes. Mm-hmm. I've heard that Bo Jackson, it's more of a thing now than it would be back then. But he was always walking around drunk.
Bo Jackson,
and always with a dart in his mouth. Yeah.
Well, he's
you need those stimulants for your performance.
Yeah. But even his position, I'm pretty sure his position was a running back, which is also one of the
demanding.
Yeah, it's one of the most demanding. And I think we were talking to Katie about this too when we were watching the Green Bay game, and Johnny and myself were mentioning to you how it was probably one of the positions in the sport that is the least has the least longevity of an athlete, because they take so much punishment.
Oh yeah, well, your objective is
hand off the ball. You have to just run it through people. You got to avoid getting crushed, and you got to just try to get it as far as you can.
Watching football, it amazed me just how much punishment these men allow their bodies to take.
it's insane.
And the huge, massive 250, 300-pound men who just, their job is to run into each other.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, you get paid a lot of money to run into another man from 5 feet away.
According to Statista, I don't know, I hope I pronounced that right, average career length of an NFL player is 3.3 years.
That's insanely short.
Yeah, that's every position though, mind you.
Yeah, I think it's everything.
So I think the
good, like now, like the real good, like the real top
They're around
prospect
for a
players,
while.
they're around for a long time.
quarterbacks as well, like the D line and the O line
Yeah.
are the guys that
We're
get matched.
talking a lot of NFL, but I'm enjoying it because I find it really interesting too. Like,
How we never talk about it.
never really do, but also at the same time, like quarterbacks, they tend to develop late too. Like these players, like they don't start hitting their stride as like top quarterback until they're into their 30s.
Right.
You get like the occasional, like you got like Andrew Luck, and certain quarterbacks are just come right out of college. They're the next big thing.
Yeah.
But like Aaron Rodgers, like I think 5 years ago maybe, like he was probably in his late 20s.
Right.
And like a lot of top quarterbacks, like they're in their peak, 33, 34 years old.
Yeah.
It would have to take a very specific mind to just be able to strategically think, and I think that's why it would take so long for someone to hit their stride.
So much preparation goes into it.
Listen, especially if you're being traded or I don't know, like being introduced to a new system as a quarterback, that's a lot to take in.
Yeah.
Hear stories of quarterbacks when they enter an organization given a literal book of plays that looks, it's as thick as a phone book.
Yeah.
And I've heard players say that it's no joke. It takes a year to completely get a hold on that book.
Yeah.
So I mean, it makes complete sense for a guy to come in the league and not show that he was the same dude in college.
Not ready.
Because you gotta make the transition. It's one playbook to another.
I think I was reading up on that about Aaron Rodgers too. Same thing, because when he first broke into the NFL, he was behind Brett Favre.
Yeah.
In the order, right? Because Brett Favre was still playing. He was still a quarterback for the Packers.
Yeah.
And I think it was only on injury. Brett Favre was out on injury. Aaron Rodgers, he was just so well prepared because all that time being like your second string quarterback, just preparing, learning every play and like play calls, and now he's one of the best in the NFL. It's so interesting to watch. It's fun to watch him with the. We were explaining to you too, Kate. It was like he likes to catch the opponent's offside or with extra man on the field. Yeah. So he'll do like the quick call.
Yeah.
He'll do like a hook really quickly, and they'll start to snap the ball with an extra player where they're trying to switch defensemen, and they'll get an offside call.
It's cool to look at that organization because what a passing of a torch that is, right?
Yeah, from Brett Favre
to Aaron Rodgers. Yeah. Like one quarterback to the next, and they both have like amazing records. One
of the greatest of all time, to one that could be one of the greatest of all time. It's crazy.
And it's also interesting how he brought up the whole late blooming thing, and he was drafted low too, right?
I can't remember his draft. I think it still was a first. I think it was maybe a late first round.
Okay,
I think. Don't quote me on that either.
Real quickly, the wild card happened this weekend.
Yes.
So we have talked about football, but not quite.
But this is the recent news.
Yes. I'll give you a quick, an
overview,
rapid fire of the.
Explain to me wild card first.
Yeah.
What are this?
It's it's basically your last chance to get into the playoffs.
Yeah. You can consider it. Yeah. It's like a last hurrah.
I mean, some people consider playoff week to start last week. Like they consider these teams to be in the playoffs, but I mean, realistically, this is the teams that are on the fringe and they're fighting to get that spot in both divisions.
It's divisional, right? So you got the NFC and the AFC. So it's pretty much two separate entities. They both have the equal amount of teams, but each one has, I think it's 3 divisions. I think it's 3 divisions, 4 divisions. I can't remember off the top of my head. This is just escaping me.
Tweet us.
Yeah, tell me how bad I'm doing. But the top ones in the divisions get in, and you have a wild card. It's like the next 2 teams, and those wild card, like the top team out of like the 2, like the AFC and the NFC, get a bye. Yeah. So they get to skip a week of play, and then the other 2 teams have to play the wild card teams.
Interesting.
So there's like a couple of teams that get like a last chance to stay in the playoffs.
That's a neat way to do it, because I know you were explaining to me that in football the playoffs is like
one and done,
sudden death. Like if you lose, if you have an off game, you're done. Unlike hockey, where you can have I mean,
it's a 7-game
you can,
series.
Yeah, you can have 3 off games and still kind of, sort of be able to come back. Not statistically, but
And both have appeal.
Yeah.
I think. It's interesting. I like the one and done thing.
For football, definitely. I don't think I could stand.
That leaves so much room for people to be salty about
Yeah.
certain mistakes.
Oh, yes.
And blame it all on one thing. With the 7-game series, you can't really do that unless it goes to game
The better team generally wins.
Generally.
Generally wins. Unless they're coached very well.
Yes.
But I was going to say there.
Do you want me to read out the scores from this past?
Oh, yes. Go right ahead.
Chiefs 30, Texans 0.
Whoa!
Is that
Blowout.
how broadcasters read out the scores?
I guess.
it's
Okay.
how this broadcaster
Yeah,
reads
we
out a
do.
score.
We do it this way.
Exactly. The Steelers put up 18 and were victorious over the Bengals 16.
They were lucky.
The Seahawks. Now, you were right about this one.
Yeah.
You were not right about the Bengals, which is kind of sad. I shed some tears for that as well.
No, but also at the end of that game, that was down to the wire too. The Bengals were winning that game.
Right.
That was down to the last play of the game, pretty much.
Let me read out 2 more before we get into the conversation. We got Seahawks putting up 10 against the Vikings 9. There was also something that
There was
interesting
a
that
couple
happened there.
tears shed watching that game. Tears of joy and laughter and sadness. So many tears.
And the Packers. The Packers. Your boys put up 35 against the Redskins 18.
Yeah.
And Kirk Cousins does not like that.
Yeah. Well, they were winning that game too. They were up. Kirk Cousins.
That's actually one I didn't watch.
Yeah. They were up. Packers. It was really weird. That was one of those games that the weather did play a really big effect. It was a really cold game.
It was cold?
Oh no, that was the Vikings. It was the Vikings game.
The Steelers-Bengals was raining.
The Vikings game was really no. It was the wind in the Packers game.
You could literally see as they threw the football
Yeah.
how much
Exactly.
farther it would go when they were throwing it into the wind versus when they weren't.
And-
We commented on that during the game. You could see on the TV how much less it was going just because of the wind.
Especially the kickoffs.
Yeah.
Especially the kickoffs. The first quarter, they were Packers were punting against the wind, and they would only get 50 yards. Ugh. And then the other way around, it would just fly into the end zone. There was wind that was controlling it, but it was a weird.
How frustrating would that be to a quarterback who knows how to throw the ball, and you have to not only be a precision like a sniper with the ball, but you have to be you not only
gotta
be
adjust. You
be a
gotta
dude that can throw the ball. You have to literally be a sniper, as in account for the weather, account for the wind.
Yeah, exactly.
And I mean, asking that out of a quarterback, if he plays a decent game in extremely windy weather, I mean, props.
And that's why the good ones get paid $20 million a year.
Yeah, when you get paid $20 million a year, I feel like you should be able to do it. I can't.
You have to impress.
So I can't say that they have to do it, but $20 million a year.
It's pretty hefty.
Almost like if you get paid over $1 million a year in basketball and you can't shoot a free throw.
Yeah.
Is there a story behind this,
calling
Alex?
out?
There's no. It's not really a story. It's a reoccurring thing with the Houston Rockets. But I feel like we should talk more football before I get to this.
Oh
I'm
my god.
bad on my Rockets at this show, man.
I do have to comment because we're on the topic of football. I got to comment on the Vikings loss. I got to because I was now, and this is coming from me as a Packers fan, and I'm not. This is not. I keep throwing that out there, but I'm just trying to accentuate how it's ridiculous that I was cheering. This is. I'm not a big fan of the Seahawks. I feel like they're the luckiest team. They just pull off the craziest things, and it's always just seems so lucky to me. But this is no different. The Vikings march up the field, run down the clock at the end of the game, and all they need to do is kick a field goal.
You feel like the Seahawks are what?
The luckiest team.
701, shots fired, shots fired.
There's been a lot of shots fired today.
Well, the only touchdown they scored, or beautiful pass that was made in that game from Russell Wilson. He tripped on the play and almost fumbled the ball, picked it up and just threw it up the middle, and it was a wonderful pass. You're like, how did he do that? That's just lucky. I feel like it was just lucky because the rest of the game he wasn't that great.
Or he's a beast.
He didn't have a great game. The Seahawks overall didn't have a great game.
Did we mention about the you like that being a uttered to the camera by Mr. Cobb.
We mentioned it a little bit.
We did?
Yeah.
Okay.
We just brought it up.
Oh, right. We did, yeah.
Yeah.
I apologize.
But
You can insult me on Twitter if you want. Clubhouse CHMR.
I just remember watching it, like watching the field goal attempt, and you're like, this is the end of the game. Like, the Vikings did it perfectly. They run down the clock, and I'm a Packers fan. I'm just like, I'd never go for the Vikings. Direct rivals.
Yeah.
But yeah, like this. Anyway, phone was going off. They're honestly free. Like the kick just goes like inches wide. Like it was the end of the game. They were winning the game on a kick. Like there was only one. The first half of the game was 3-0. I think the first three quarters of the game was 3-0 for the Vikings.
Yep.
All points were scored on kicks, and then the last kick he just misses it, drills it wide.
And that deserves...
That's it. That's perfect.
We haven't dropped that in a while.
That pretty much summed it up.
That's one of my favorite drops, and I never drop it. We're going to take another break. And when we come back, we're going to talk some controversy.
Yes.
We're going to leave you with some Bedouin Sound Clash. Stick with us.
But seriously, is primarily concerned with entertainment.
You're listening to the Clubhouse.
Wow. Hey. You're listening to
The Clubhouse
the best
show
in
the world.
regarding...
Sports.
Yeah.
We did it.
We're so natural at this now.
We think quite highly of ourselves here, don't we?
Hey, you got to be a little confident. Right?
This is episode 10. So,
This is the big one, yeah.
We're in the double digits, guys.
Oh, it's
this
official.
is a big day.
It's only gonna go. The number's only gonna go up from here.
we got big surprises this week.
I hope I didn't just curse.
Nope.
Just kidding, we don't.
Jinx us. The number's only gonna go up for here, and then they were off the air.
Tune in next week when we're not here.
Yeah. We're kidding.
We were just talking about some football,
We talked a lot of football.
and I feel like we vindicated ourselves from neglecting that
Particular
America's
sport.
favorite sport.
America's.
Not
Not
Ameri-
America's favorite pastime.
No, I was going to say that.
Not that one.
We talk about that every week for a little bit, at least.
We actually have one little tidbit of information on that.
Yeah. Do you want to
Storin.
tell us about it, or do you want me to tell you?
You talk about it. You know a bit more, I think.
Now, Storin, this is
True Storin.
the pitcher that was just acquired by the Jays, correct?
Yeah.
And
New pitcher.
so he, along with like a lot of other players, they realize that they're getting traded, and just kind of out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And he stated that when he found out about the trade, he was engaging in Netflix and chill.
Those are his words.
Yes.
Exactly.
So that's our baseball for today.
That was
Well,
really informative, guys.
why-
I'm
but why-
really proud of our news breaking.
What makes you like why do you say that? Like
Get
just
a couple-
publicly, I guess for the laugh, like, but just that's the public thing.
Listen, David Price says that he's excited for the popcorn, and Storin drops a cool Netflix and chill pop culture line.
Yeah.
So we got to create a little buzz somehow.
Yeah. See, you never hear things like cool, interesting ones like that, or funny ones like that with hockey ones.
See, it's the press, man. The press people are too hard on players.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got they're right at their throats. You mean like whenever you see players walk off the field or off the rink, they always got their PR people right by them to make sure that they're staring them down so they don't say anything like that.
They're protected.
But when they do, it's fun.
It is.
So listen up.
But you don't see any like those cool stories with like hockey trades and stuff. It's always like I had no idea.
I had no idea. Just kind of came at me. But
What accent was that?
what accent? That was Don Cherry, who's younger.
a younger Don.
That's one thing I always found with hockey, though. The
See-
shows,
See, it's like this.
the shows
You go out there, you do that.
that focus on hockey
Yeah.
are very serious. If I was to say the panel shows, right? Like
yeah.
Hockey Night in Canada.
Yeah, insider
So
trading.
serious.
They're really they're
I feel like if you joked on the panel, they'd cut your head off.
yeah. We need like Ron McLean
Or strangle you. Shout out to Don Cherry.
Why did we shout out to Don after that?
Controversy.
There you go. We're creating our own controversy here at CHMR.
That's a good lead-in. this is the segment which you're all familiar with.
Yes.
This weekend.
Controversy.
And one of the topics this week that I wanted to bring up, one of the controversial topics, regards the UFC.
Oh, we'll go with that first.
And
FIFA.
it's kind of a funny, like all these controversial stories are. CM Punk from the WWE. Some of you may be familiar with him. Now, he hasn't wrestled in a while, I don't think, because he left the WWE on bad terms.
Yeah.
Kind of like this freedom fighter way.
I don't know too much about it.
I don't know too much. I don't really like the WWE. I'll just be straight with our viewers. Gotta be honest around here. And but he left the WWE because he wasn't pleased with how he's getting treated by management. You know, like people like John Cena and stuff like that were getting paid more than him.
Yeah.
And he wasn't satisfied with it. But that isn't the controversy. The controversy is he's going to be fighting in the UFC sometime soon. I don't know if he already has. But he was put in the roster for the new game. And the rankings were released this week.
Is he like the top fighter or something?
Now, the rankings, okay, put it this way. Someone who hasn't fought yet,
Yeah.
I don't think deserves an 85.
Yeah.
Like out of 100, an
That's
85.
classic hype.
Right.
Classic hype building.
Classic Dana White is
Oh,
what it is.
definitely. He's hyping him up because there's a good chance that CM Punk's first fight can just be a complete just a
bust.
letdown, like a complete bust.
Yeah.
He doesn't belong there.
Now, I've heard,
And that 85 turns to like a 50.
I feel like, these kind of things come out to try and justify it right away, but I've heard he has MMA training or the martial arts training.
Yeah.
And
I have martial arts training. I'm not stepping into the octagon.
You're not getting an 85 on the UFC game.
No.
They rank the fighters?
Yeah, it's like in when you
Like
pick
in
up
the
an
Hunger Games is what
No,
I'm
no.
thinking.
No, like
It's a little bit twisted,
You,
but
in,
okay.
in the
okay.
games, you get like a rating between 0 and 100. Like the players do get like just to kind of like to know which players are usually better or something. Even in sports games, like top players, you'll get Sidney Crosby will get like a 94.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It just I didn't realize they did that, and I was like, oh, it's very Hunger Games-esque. I'm a little bit like perturbed. I don't know.
Yeah, like he had an 85, and fans were tweeting, I don't know, I guess UFC and using UFC hashtags and all that kind of stuff. Tweeting Dana White, very upset. Tweeting CM Punk, very upset. And his response, this is quote, that the fans were butthurt. So you can't go saying that, Mr. CM.
No.
Controversy.
Well, now he's just. I feel like that's just more of a fire lit. Now he's got to really prove himself now.
I was gonna say
Oh, yeah.
now he's got to prove that
Yeah.
85 or 85.
85.
Yeah,
85.
he's got to prove that 85. Puts a lot of pressure on him. I don't know.
I wish I prepared a little more in terms of seeing who we could compare him to in terms of 85.
Yeah.
Who else is in 85?
I have no idea. Like I don't play the MMA games. I might have played it once. I just found it too complicated. I was like, no.
Oh, there's a lot to it,
Yeah.
for sure.
It was just a little confusing.
Now,
That was probably like the first MMA game.
A little comparison that people will probably bring up is Brock Lesnar. Brock
Yeah.
Lesnar was also a professional wrestler who made the transition into MMA.
Now, but Brock Lesnar though has a very high pedigree of actual like combat competition.
Yes.
Like he is an all-American like wrestling champion, like an NCAA.
Yep.
So there, he's already got that grounding, right? Like you already have that grounding, grounding, and then groundwork. in
Oh.
wrestling. I've cracked myself up. Anyway, you already got that grounding in the sport, and now all he really needed to do was brush up on his striking and his stand up, right?
Yeah. Which wasn't so pretty.
It
but he
wasn't
still
so pretty.
won a championship.
But he was a champion for a while, but then people figured he was a one trick pony, right? And people figured him out.
Josh, I do this every week.
Yes.
I'm going to ask you a random question that you may not be informed about. We're just going to predict anyways.
So this could be
Josh Greeley.
Yes.
Is CM Punk going to be a UFC champion?
No. Just because.
No, yeah, I think I'm with you there as well.
I don't know a lot about CM Punk, but even as his persona, like, and in professional wrestling, like, it is a very big asset to each wrestler to have be put on like this mean mugging poker face.
Yep.
He has this like straight edge, like tough guy persona.
Kind of an
that he's
unlikely star.
always had, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't do drugs, I don't drink, I'm covered in tattoos, like,
But I'm still tough.
yeah, like straight edge acts, like whatever. But it just always like the tough talk. I don't think like
Don't judge me on my lack of alcohol.
no, like I think maybe he's a really good athlete, but I'm not convinced.
I'm convinced
what
he's
I
a good
know.
athlete anyways. I mean, like, seeing his conditioning as much as people say it's not a sport, it's not a sport.
Yeah.
It's sports entertainment, but you got to be conditioned to,
But-
be a professional wrestler.
But professional wrestling is athletic.
Absolutely.
But it's a to me in my mind. I don't want to upset anybody, but it's a choreographed dance to me, right? It's
in
not,
a good way.
yeah.
Listen, dance can
No,
be good.
It's not a bad but that's the difference between it. Like in MMA, you're not going to choreograph someone busting your teeth out.
Right.
That happens.
And
Whether he's
again-
ready for that or not, I don't know.
Again, we have respect for the WWE. We recognize that it's definitely athletic.
Now I hope he proves me wrong.
And
do.
some of the skills probably do transition.
Yeah.
The strength transitions.
Yeah, it is, but there's more to it than just.
I was going to say the ring transitions, but it does not.
It does not.
It did in Pride, but not in the UFC.
Maybe when he was doing in TNA or whatever. He
TNA.
used to have a different ring.
Oh, yeah.
He used to be in there.
Oh, yeah. TNA did have an octagon.
Yeah, like an octagon.
Or a hexagon.
Yeah, hexagon or something like that.
Interesting. There's your pro wrestling talk
Woo! We got something new.
for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Another bit of upsetting controversy here now.
Is this the homophobic? The FIFA.
It's,
Yeah.
I'm going to read out a little excerpt from the Associated Press.
Okay.
FIFA fined Argentina, Chile, Mexico, Peru, and Uruguay on Wednesday for anti-gay chants by their national team's fans. The insulting and discriminatory chants came during qualifying matches for the 2018 World Cup, FIFA said. Chile's fine is the biggest at 70,000 Swiss francs. Where do we got here? What do we got? There's also fines of 20,000.
Yeah.
Regardless, you can't do that. You can't go being all anti-gay at sporting events. And, that's the funny thing, because they're holding the teams, the organizations responsible for the fans.
They do that. FIFA does that a lot, though.
And I feel like
It's so bad in soccer, though. That happens a lot.
because you
It's
can't
insane.
directly, or it's very hard to sue a fan or a group of fans. It's not like you got people, monitoring what people are saying.
Did you hear about the last year with the Chelsea fans? With the race, like there was the racist.
Yes, yeah. There's
the racist issue.
Yeah.
And there was one person that was picked on in particular. And
think. But it was chance. It was terrible chance.
it was
throughout the
chance.
stadium.
Not even just that. Not even just that. But I mean, like, no, this was like in when they were in Paris Saint Germain. Like when they were in Paris, playing Paris Saint Germain, and this was just a Frenchman of color.
Yep.
And he was picked on by Chelsea fans in Subway.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can really appreciate punishing the team, though, actually, because, if you're that big a fan that you're willing to say, like,
You don't want your
these
team, yeah.
terrible remarks, then and they target your team because you said them, well, are you going to say them again? Probably not, because your team is going to get punished for that.
Especially if if those punishments hamper your team from being able to compete or even get better.
Right.
I think it's fair because there's no place in sports for any sort of discrimination.
It's unnecessary.
No.
Just completely unnecessary.
There's no place in it.
In the world, it's
Yeah.
unnecessary.
Literally, like, I don't care what you say, like, the color of your skin, whatever preference, like, anything, it has no bearing on your athleticism.
No, and
So these things are completely separate.
and how anyone else performs on the team either. And
Exactly.
we had an issue in the CFL. Who what was the gentleman's name? The first openly gay NFL or CFL player. Either way, he backed out. He's not competing in the CFL anymore, and it's largely believed because he, got some flack in the locker
There was a
room.
locker room backlash.
It's awful to hear.
Yeah.
I hate that.
But these are times now where it's in a transition. The worst thing
for
about
sure.
it is we experience
Justin Trudeau.
Yeah. It's specific. But we experience these things at a slow rate because, like, in the moment but you got to look at it, even over time, how much things have improved and how it does change.
Yeah.
It just doesn't happen so fast.
Right.
Yeah. Like
Slow and gradual.
you can't just erase bigotry.
No.
These people are going to think this way. They're going to be that way, and you can fight it.
And they're going to be in your stadium.
But no matter what, progress leaves them behind. and they're going to get left behind.
Yup.
So that's my uplifting political.
That's the world according to Josh.
The world according to me.
I kind of like it because usually, I mean, wow, it's kind of funny how we're doing this segment last. We're supposed to do it at the 30-minute mark, the halfway mark.
We've had a really interesting show.
Good show. But controversy is usually our realm of, a bit of laughter, a bit of poking fun at some rookies and stuff like that. But it's nice to get one that
we take
take seriously. It's not nice to hear the news, obviously, but it's nice that we can get one and talk about seriously about some issues that aren't so pretty in the world of sports.
I'm also just glad it's being handled at all and it's not being ignored or not being blown up to be some headline. It's like, no, this happened. This is how it's being dealt with.
Yeah.
And whether that's to the extent that it should be dealt with or if it should be dealt with more, at least they're doing something about it and it's not just sitting there.
Sweeping it under the rug.
Yeah.
Shout out Roger Goodell.
Yeah. Preach, Brad.
That's perfect because that's what you just need a reaction to it. Mm-hmm. For them to say, for the team to come out and say it's completely unacceptable of our fans to do that. Perfect. Right. Tell your fans that it's unacceptable. You got to take these steps, right?
Exactly. I'm going to ask our fans a question. Mm-hmm. If they ever come up with a bit of controversy, either serious or not, tweet it into Clubhouse CHMR.
Yeah.
And follow that. And I also want to bring up one last thing before we close the show out.
Yes.
Tyson Fury was announced the Fighter of the Year, which he very well deserves.
He did.
For the Ring magazine, and he apparently didn't know that. Now, he wasn't Netflixing and chilling at the time he found out that.
He was probably fighting something, drinking, or lifting weights.
For those who tuned in late, Mr. Storin, new Blue Jay, said that he was doing that, Netflix and chilling, when he found out about the news. But regardless, I want to play a little clip of a British reporter from 5 News chasing him down. This is funny.
But are you angry with people? Do you feel people aren't showing you
All
respect?
I've got to say is, blessed be the Lord Jesus Christ. We have no hatred towards anybody, only love.
You take back anything that you've said.
Listen, whatever I've said, I've said. But all I can say is we don't hate anybody. Jesus loves the world, as do I.
What about the meeting in Cardiff today?
Jesus loves the world.
But what about this meeting in Cardiff today?
Blessed be the Lord, that's all I can say.
But you face possible punishment?
Blessed be the Lord.
We'll leave you to it. I can't keep up with you, Tyson.
I've got a train, I can't stop, unfortunately.
So a bit of backstory.
I'm just here so I won't get fined.
Yeah, kind of similar. Tyson Fury was stripped of one of his belts because he accepted the rematch with Vlad Klitschko when one of the organizations wanted him to face someone else.
Yeah.
So, dumb boxing politics. But guess what? It brought us to a nice new sound drop. I'll tell you that much.
What is it?
Jesus loves the world.
Yeah. I just like that Tyson brushes off the reporter. I can't keep up with you, Tyson. He's like, I got to keep working out.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
That's the thing too, because he's training. Leave him alone.
Yeah.
The dude's training. This is the Clubhouse.
Yeah.
We're gonna call it an evening.
What are we gonna leave them with?
We're gonna leave them with Sam Roberts.
Some Sam Roberts.
And we have.
Thank you for tuning in.
Thanks for tuning in. And here's Sam Roberts.
Jesus loves the world.
Bingo game is ready to roll. Take me to the dance. Kick up your heels.